returns triumphant to Rome. His career has been remarkable. Elected Pontifex Maximus nearly 20 years ago, he went on to defeat the Helvetii and the Germans, crossing the Rhine and invading Britain, the first Roman ever to do so. Last year, for his services done to Rome, the Senate declared him dictator for life. Cassius recently reconciled to Caesar. And there's Decia Brutus, Rome's first woman to be elected to the Senate. Here's Marcus Brutus, Caesar's great friend and one of Rome's noblest sons. And finally, Caesar's wife, Calpurnia.
Calpurnia.
Here, my lord.
Stand you directly in Antonius's way when he doth run his course. Antonius.
Caesar, my lord.
Forget not in your speed to touch Calpurnia, for our elders say the baron touched in this holy chase shake off their sterile curse.
I shall remember. When Caesar says do this, it is performed.
Yes.
And set on and leave no ceremony out.
Caesar!
Huh? Who calls? Who is it in the press that calls on me?
Beware the Ides of March.
What woman is that?
A soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March.
Well, set her before me. Let me see her face.
Come from the throne. Look upon Caesar.
What sayest thou to me now? Speak once again.
Beware the Ides of March.
She's a dreamer. Let us leave her. Leave her.
Hail Caesar! Hail Caesar!
Will you go see the order of the course? Not I. I pray you do. I am not gamesome. I do lack some of that quick spirit that is in Antony. Well, let me not hinder, Cassius, your desires. I'll leave you, Brutus. I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eye that show of gentleness and love that I was wont to have. You bear too stubborn and too strange a hand over your friend that loves you. Cassius, be not deceived. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed I am of late, with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself, which give perhaps some soil to my behavior. But let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number, Cassius, be you one. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? No, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other thing. 'Tis just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirror as will turn your inner worthiness to your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath the yoke of this age, had wished the noble Brutus had his eyes. Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me? What means this cry?
I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Or do you fear it then?
Then must I think you would not have it so? I would not, yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it you would impart to me? If it be aught to the general good, set honor in one eye and death in the other, and I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so speed me, as I love the name of honor more than I fear death. I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favor well. Honor is the subject of my story. I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lief not be as live to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born free, as Caesar. So were you. We both have fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he for once. Upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing at her shores, Caesar said to me, "Durst thou now, Cassius, leap with me into this angry flood and swim to yonder point?" Upon the word, accoutred as I was, I plunged in and bade him follow, so indeed he did. The torrents roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." So, from the waves of Tiber did I bear the tired Caesar, and this man is now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature that must bend his body if Caesar carelessly but nod on him. Huh? He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake, 'tis true. This god did shake. His coward lips did from their colour fly, and that same eye, whose awe doth bend the world, did lose his lustre. I did hear him groan, aye, that tongue of his, that bade the Romans mark him, and set his speeches in their books. Alas, it cried, give me some drink, Titinius, like a sick girl. Egods, it doth amaze me, a man of such a feeble temper should get the start of the majestic world and bear the palm alone. Another general shout. I do think that these applauses are for some new honors heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we, petty men, walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings, Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together. Yours is as fair a name. Sound them. It doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them. Yours is as heavy. Conjure with them. Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar, now in the name of all the gods at once. Upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods. When went there by an age since the great flood, when it was famed with one man? When could they say that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompass but one man? Now is it Rome indeed, and room enough, when there is in it but one only man?
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous. What you would work me to, I have some aim. How I have thought on this and of these things I will recount hereafter. For this present I would not, so with love I might entreat you, be any further moved. What you have said, I will consider. What you have to say, I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew on this. Brutus had rather be a villager than repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions as this time is like to lay on us.
I am glad that my weak words have struck but thus much show of fire from Brutus.
The games are done and Caesar is returning.
as they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve. He will, after his sour fashion, tell us what have occurred, worthy note today.
I will do so. But look, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's brow, and all the rest look like a chidden train.
Casca will tell us what the matter is.
Antonius,
Caesar, my lord.
let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, such as sleeper knights. Young Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous.
Fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous. He is a noble Roman, and well given.
Would he were fatter, but I fear him not. Yet if my name were liable to fear, I do not know the man I should so soon avoid as that spare Cassius. He reads much, he's a great observer, and he quite looks through the deeds of men. He loves no plays as thou dost, Antony. He hears no music. Seldom he smiles, and smiles in such a sort as if he mocked himself and scorned his spirit that could be moved to smile at anything. Such men as he never be at heart's ease when they behold a greater than themselves, and therefore is he very dangerous. I speak rather of what is to be feared than what I fear, for always I am Caesar. Friends, follow us. Come on my right hand, for this ear is deaf, and tell me truly what thou thinkst of him.
Would you speak with me?
Hi, Casca. Tell us what hath chanced today that Caesar looks so sad.
Why, you were with him, were you not?
I should not then ask Casca what had chanced.
Why, a crown was offered him. And being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand thus, and the people fell a-shouting.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony.
Well, tell us the manner of it, gentle Casca.
It was mere foolery. I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown, and as I told you, he put it by once. But for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. And then he offered it to him again, Cassius. And he put it by again. But to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. And then he offered it the third time, and he put it by the third time. But still, as he refused it, the rabblemen shouted and clapped their chopped hands and threw up their sweaty nightcaps and uttered such a deal of stinking breath because Caesar had refused the crown that it had almost choked Caesar, for he swooned and fell down at it.
Soft, I pray you. Did Caesar swoon?
He fell down in the marketplace and foamed at the mouth and was speechless.
What said he when he came unto himself?
He said that if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired their worships to think it was his infirmity. 3 or 4 wenches, where I stood, cried, "Alas, good soul!" and forgave him with all their hearts. There's no heed to be taken of them. For if Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they'd have done no less.
And he came then thus sad away.
Aye,
Did Cicero say anything?
aye, he spoke Greek.
To what effect?
Nay, and I tell you that, I'll never look you in the face again. But those that understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. Fare you well.
Farewell.
What a blunt fellow is this grown to be. Tomorrow, if you desire to speak with me, come to my house, and I will wait for you.
I will do so. Till then, think of the world. Well, Brutus, thou art noble, but yet I see thy honourable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed. Therefore 'tis meet that noble minds keep ever with their lights, for who so firm that cannot be seduced? Caesar doth bear me hard, but he loves Brutus. If I were Brutus now and he were Cassius, he should not humour me. I will tonight, in Brutus's window throw, in several hands, writings, all tending to the great opinion Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. After this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure.
Who's there?
A Roman.
Cassius, by your voice.
Oh, your ear is good.
Cassius, what night is this?
A very pleasing night to honest men.
Whoever knew the heavens men as so?
Those that have known the earth so full of faults. For my part, I have walked about the streets, submitting me unto this perilous night. And when the cross-blue lightning seemed to open the very breast of heaven, I did present myself, even in the aim and very flash of it.
But wherefore did you so much tempt the heavens? It is the part of men to fear and tremble when the most mighty gods by tokens send such dreadful heralds to astonish
You
us.
are dull, Simba. And those sparks of life that should be in a Roman you do want, or else you use not. You look pale and gaze and put on fear and cast yourself in wonder to see the strange impatience of the heavens. Now, could I, Simba, name to thee a man most like this dreadful night, a man no stronger than myself or me in personal action, but prodigious grown and fearful as these strange eruptions are.
'Tis Caesar you mean, is it not, Cassius?
Let it be who it is. For Romans now have thews and limbs like to their ancestors, but were the while. Our fathers' minds are dead, and we are governed with our mothers' spirits.
Indeed. They say the senators tomorrow mean to establish Caesar as a king, and he shall wear his crown by sea and land in all places save here in Rome.
I know where I shall wear my dagger then. Cassius from bondage will deliver Cassius. That part of tyranny I bear, I can shake off at will.
So can I. So every bondman holds in his own hand the power to cancel his captivity.
And why should Caesar be a tyrant then, huh? Poor man! I know he would not be a wolf, but that he sees the Romans are but sheep. What trash is Rome? What rubbish and what offal, when it serves as the base matter to illuminate so vile a thing as Caesar. Oh, grief. Where hast thou led me? Perhaps I speak this in front of a willing bondman, but I am armed, and dangers are to me indifferent.
You speak to Simba, and to such a man that is no fleering telltale. Hold! My hand. Be factious for redress of all these griefs, and I will set this foot of mine as far as who goes farthest.
There's a bargain made. Now know you, Simba, I have already moved some certain of the noblest-minded Romans to undergo with me an enterprise of honorable, dangerous consequence. Go. Yet ere day we'll meet at Brutus' house. 3 parts of him is ours already. The man entire yields him upon the next encounter.
He sits high in all the people's hearts, and that which would appear offense in us, his countenance like richest alchemy, will change to virtue and worthiness.
Go, it's after midnight. Yet ere day we will awake him and be sure of him.
Go pull me these papers in my study. When you have done, come and call me here.
I will, my lord.
It must be by his death. And for my part, I know no personal cause to spurn at him, but for the general. He would be crowned. How that might change his nature, there's the question. It 'Tis the bright day that brings forth the adder, and that craves wary walking. Crown him. That, and then I grant we put a sting in him, that at his will he may do danger with. The abuse of greatness is when it disjoins remorse from power. And, to speak truth of Caesar, I have not known when his affections swayed more than his reason. But 'tis a common proof that lowliness is young ambition's ladder, whereto the climber upward turns his face. But when he once attains the utmost round, he then unto the ladder turns his back, looks in the clouds, scorning the base degrees by which he did ascend. So Caesar may, then lest he may, prevent. And since the quarrel will bear no color for the thing he is, fashion it thus, that what he is, augmented, would run to these and these extremities, and therefore think him as a serpent's egg, which hatched would as his kind grow mischievous, and kill him in the shell.
Sir, I found this paper in your study, thus sealed up, and I am sure it did not lie there before.
Is not tomorrow the Ides of March?
I know not, sir.
Look in the calendar.
Sir, March is wasted 15 days.
'Tis good. Go to the gate. Somebody knocks.
I will, my lord.
Brutus, thou sleepst. Awake and see thyself. Shall Rome stand under one man's awe? Oh, Rome. My ancestors did from the streets of Rome the Tarquin drive when he was called a king. Since Cassius first did whet me against Caesar, I have not slept. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. The genius and the mortal instruments are then in council, and the state of man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection.
Sir, 'tis your brother Cassius at the door. He doth desire to see you.
Is he alone?
No, sir, there are more with him.
Do you know them?
No, sir, I may not discover them by any mark of favor.
Let him enter. They are the faction. O conspiracy, shamest thou to show thy dangerous brow by night, when evils are most free?
I fear we are too bold upon your rest. Good morrow, Brutus. Do we trouble you?
I have been up this hour, awake all night. Know I these gentlemen that come with you?
Aye, every man, and no man here but honors you. And every one doth wish you had but that opinion of yourself that every noble Roman bears.
They are welcome. Decius Brutus, Metellus Cimber, Publius Casca. What watchful cares interpose themselves betwixt your eyes and night?
Shall I entreat a word?
Here lies the east. Does not the day break here?
No.
Oh, pardon, sir, doth. In yon gray lines that fray the clouds, messengers of the day.
Give me your hands over, one by one, and let us
Swear our resolution.
No, not an oath. Swear priests and cowards and men crafty, old feeble carrions and such suffering souls that welcome wrongs. Unto bad causes swear such creatures as men doubt, but do not stain the even virtue of our enterprise, nor the insuppressive metal of our spirits, to think that or our cause or our performance did need an oath, when every drop of blood that every Roman bears, and nobly bears, is guilty of a several bastardy, if he do break the smallest particle of any promise that hath passed from him.
Agreed. But what of Cicero? Shall we sound him? I think he'll stand very strong with us.
Let us not leave him out.
No, by no means.
Let us not name him. Let us not break with him, for he will not follow anything that other men begin.
Then leave him out.
Indeed, he's not fit.
Shall no man else be touched but only Caesar?
Decius, well urged. I think it is not meet, Mark Antony. so well beloved of Caesar should outlive Caesar. Let Antony and Caesar fall together.
Let us be sacrificers, but not butchers. Our course will seem too bloody, Cassius, to cut off the head and then hack the limbs, like wrath in death and envy afterwards, for Antony is but a limb of Caesar. We all stand up against the spirit of Caesar, and in the spirit of men there is no blood. Oh, that we could come by Caesar's spirit and not dismember Caesar. But alas, Caesar must bleed for it. And gentle friends, let's kill him boldly, but not wrathfully. Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds. We shall be called purgers and not murderers. As for Antony, think not of him, for he can do no more than Caesar's arm when Caesar's head is off.
Yet I do fear him for in the engrafted
Alas,
love.
good Cassius, think not of him. If he do love Caesar, all that he can do is to himself. Take thought on Caesar and die. And that were much he should, for he is given to wildness, to sports, and much company.
There is no fear in him. Let him not die, for he will live and laugh at this hereafter.
The morning comes upon us. Friends, disperse yourselves. But every one of you remember what you have said, and remember yourselves as true Romans.
Gentle friends, look fresh and merry. Let not our looks put on our purposes, but bear it as our Roman actors do, with untired spirits and formal constancy. And so good morrow to you all.
Brutus, my lord?
Portia, what mean you? Wherefore rise you now? It is not for your health thus to commit your weak condition to the raw cold morning.
Nor for yours neither. You've ungently, Brutus, stole from my bed. Yesternight at supper you suddenly arose and walked about musing and sighing with your arms across. When I asked you what the matter was, you stared upon me with ungentle looks. I urged you further, then you scratched your head and too impatiently stamped with your foot. Yet I insisted, yet you answered not, but with an angry wafture of your hand gave sign for me to leave you. So I did, fearing to strengthen that impatience which seemed too much enkindled, but withal hoping it was but an effect of humor that hath his hour with every man. Will not let you eat, nor talk, nor sleep. And could it work so much upon your shape as it hath much prevailed on your condition, I should not know you, Brutus. Dear my lord, make me acquainted with your cause of grief.
I am not well in health, and that is all.
Brutus is wise, and were he not in health, he would embrace the means to come by it.
Why, so I do, gentle Portia. Go to bed.
Is Brutus sick? And is it physical? To walk unbraced and suck up the humors of the dank morning? What? Is Brutus sick? And will he steal out of his wholesome bed to dare the vile contagion of the night and tempt the roomy and unpurged air to add unto his sickness? No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of. And upon my knees, by my once commended beauty, I charge you what men tonight have had resort to you.
Kneel not, gentle Portia.
I should not need if you were gentle Brutus. Within the bond of marriage, tell me, Brutus, is it accepted that I should know no secrets that appertain to you? Am I yourself, but, as it were, with sort or limitation, to keep with you at meals, comfort your bed, and talk with you sometimes? Dwell I but in the suburbs of your good pleasure? If it be no more, Portia is Brutus' harlot, not his wife.
You are my true and honorable wife, as dear to me as are the ruddy drops that visit my sad heart.
If this were true, then I should know this secret. I grant I am a woman, but withal a woman Lord Brutus took to wife. I grant I am a woman, but a woman well reputed,
Cato's daughter. Think you I am no stronger than my sex, being so fathered and so husbanded? Oh, tell me your counsels. I will not disclose them. I have made strong proof of my constancy by giving myself a voluntary wound here in the thigh. Can I bear that with patience and not my husband's secrets?
Oh, ye gods, render me worthy of this noble wife. Gentle Portia, go in with me, and by thy bosom shall partake the secrets of my heart. All my engagements I will construe to thee, all the charactery of my sad brow. Oh, Portia.
Nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. Thrice in her sleep, Calpurnia has cried out, "Help, ho, they murder Caesar." Who's within?
What mean you, Caesar? Think you to go forth?
Go bid the priests do present sacrifice and bring me their opinions of success.
I will, my lord.
You shall not stir out of your house today.
Caesar shall go forth. The things that threatened me ne'er look but on my back. When they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished.
Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies, yet now they fright me. There is one within, besides the things that we have heard and seen. Recounts most horrid sights seen by the watch. A lioness hath whelped in the streets, and graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce, fiery warriors fight upon the clouds in ranks and squadrons and right form of war, which drizzled blood upon the Capitol. The noise of battle hurtled in the air, and horses did neigh, and dying men did groan, and ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. Oh, Caesar, these things are beyond all use, and I do fear them.
What can be avoided whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar shall go forth, for these predictions are to the world in general as to Caesar.
When beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth with the death of princes.
Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have seen, it seems to me most strange that men should fear death, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come.
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house and not your own. We'll send Mark Antony to the Senate House, and he shall say that you're not well today. Oh, let me upon my knee prevail in this.
Mark Antony shall say I am not well, and for thy humor I will stay at home today. Now here's Decia, she shall tell them.
All hail, Caesar. Good morrow, mighty Caesar. I come to fetch thee to the Senate House.
And you'll come in very happy time to bear my greetings to the senators and tell them I will not come today. Cannot is false, and dare not falser. I will not come today. Tell them so, Decia.
Say that he is sick.
Shall Caesar send a lie? Have I in conquest outstretched my arm so far as to be afraid to tell greybeards the truth? Decia, go tell them Caesar will not come today.
Mighty Caesar, give me some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so.
Cause it's in my will. I will not come today. That's enough to satisfy the Senate. But for your satisfaction, because I love you, I will let you know. Calpurnia here, my wife, stays me at home. She dreamed tonight she saw my statue, which like a fountain with 100 spouts did run forth pure blood. And many lusty Romans came, smiling, and did bathe their hands in it. And these does she take as portents and omens, and evils imminent, and on her knee hath begged that I stay home today.
This dream is all misinterpreted. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Your statue, spouting blood in many pipes, in which many smiling Romans bathed, signifies that from you great Rome shall suck reviving blood.
And this way have thou well expounded it.
The Senate hath concluded on this day to give thee, mighty Caesar, a crown. If you shall send word that you will not come, their minds may change. Besides, it were a mock for someone to say, break up the Senate till another day when Caesar's wife shall meet with better dreams. If Caesar hide himself, shall they not whisper, lo, Caesar's afraid? Pardon me, Caesar, for my dear, dear love in your proceeding bids me tell you this.
How foolish do your fears seem now, Calpurnia? I'm ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my coat. For I will go.
Caesar plans to leave Rome tomorrow for one last great military campaign. He meets the Senate today to finalize those plans. Sources say Calpurnia, Caesar's wife, suffered terrible dreams last night and begged her husband not to go to the Senate, though she has long been criticized for her reliance on astrologers and soothsayers. Friends close to Caesar worry that the leader's lack of concern for security may have dire consequences. Last week, Caesar dismissed his bodyguard, saying, "It is more important for Rome than for myself that I should survive. I have long been sated with power and glory, but should anything happen to me, Rome will enjoy no peace." When asked by friends at a state dinner what was the best kind of death to die, Caesar casually replied, "A sudden one."
Caesar, the eyes have not yet gone. They have not yet gone.
Is the woman mad?
Sirrah, give place!
What said Popilius Lena?
He wished today our enterprise might thrive.
Look how he made to Caesar. Mark him.
Brutus, what shall be done? If this be discovered, Caesar or Cassius never shall turn back, for I will slay myself.
Cassius, be content. Popilius Lena speaks not of our purposes. For look you, he smiles, and Caesar doth not change.
Casca knows his time, for look you, Brutus, he draws Mark Antony out of the way.
Where's Metellus Sember? Let him go and presently pursue his suit to Caesar.
He is addressed. Bear near and second him.
Are we all ready? What is now amiss that Caesar and his Senate must redress?
Most high, most mighty, and most powerful Caesar, Metellus Simba throws before thy seat.
I must prevent thee, Simba. These couchings and these lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men, and bring preordinance and first decree into the law of children. Be not bold to think that Caesar has such rebel blood that will be thawed from the quality with that which melteth fools. I mean sweet words and low crooked curtsies, and base spaniel fawning. Thy brother by decree is banished, and if thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, I spurn thee out of my way like a cur.
Caesar, thou dost me wrong.
Caesar without cause never did wrong, nor without cause will he be satisfied.
Is there no voice more worthy than my own? To speak sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repealing of my banished brother?
I kiss thy hand, Caesar, but not in flattery, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repeal.
Brutus! Pardon, Caesar, Caesar, pardon. As low as to thy feet doth Cassius fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Cimber.
I could be moved if I were as you. If prayers could move me, I would pray to move. But I am as constant as the northern star, of whose true fixed and resting quality there is no fellow in the firmament. The skies are painted with unnumbered sparks. They are all fire, and every one doth shine. But there's but one in all doth hold his place. So in the world, 'tis furnished well with men, and men of flesh, and blood, and apprehensive. Yet I do know of but one in all the number, who unassailable holds on his rank, unshaked of motion. And that I am he, let me a little show it even in this, that I was constant, Cimber should be banished, and constant do remain to keep him so.
Oh, Caesar!
Hence will thou lift up Olympus?
Great Caesar!
Doth not Brutus bootless kneel?
Speak hands for me!
Ah! Oh! 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 Et tu, Brute, then fall, Caesar.
Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. Go to the pulpit, Brutus.
Cassius too.
Where's Antony?
Fled to his house, amazed. Men, women, children stare, cry out, and run as it were doomsday.
We give Rome peace, liberty, and freedom. How many ages hence shall this, our lofty scene, be acted out in states unknown and accents yet unborn? How many ages hence shall Caesar bleed in sport that now lies no worthier than the dust? So oft as that shall be, so oft shall the knot of us be called the men who gave their country liberty.
Shall we forth?
Aye, every one of us, Brutus, shall lead the way, and we will grace his heels with the most boldest and best hearts in Rome.
Where is Mark Antony?
Fled in fear.
I know we shall have him well to friend.
I wish we may, but yet I have a mind that fears him much, and my misgivings still fall shrewdly to the purpose.
I know not what you gentlemen intend. Who else must be let blood? Who else's rank? If I myself, there is no hour so fit as Caesar's death hour, nor no instrument of half that worth as those your hands made rich with the most noble blood of all this world. I do beseech ye, if you bear me hard, now, whilst your bloody hands do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure. Live 1,000 years, I shall not find myself so apt to die. No place will please me so, no means of death as here by Caesar, and by you cut off the choice and master spirits of this age.
But Mark Antony, beg not your death of us. Rise. Pity to the general wrong of Rome hath done this deed on Caesar. For your part, Mark Antony, our arms in strength of amity, and our hearts of brother's temper do receive you in with all kind love, good thoughts, and reverence.
Your voice shall be as strong as any man in the disposing of new dignities.
Only be patient till we have appeased the multitude. beside themselves with fear. Then we will deliver you the cause why I, that did love Caesar when I struck him, have thus proceeded.
I doubt not of your wisdom. Let each man render me his hand. Marcus Brutus, Metellus Cimber, Publius Casca, Decia Brutus, Caius Cassius.
But what compact mean you to have with us? Will you be pricked in number of our friends, or shall we on and not depend on you?
Therefore I take your hands. Friends, am I with you all, and love you all, upon this hope, that you may give me reasons why and wherein Caesar was dangerous.
Or else were this a savage spectacle? Our reasons are so full of good regard that were you, Antony, the son of Caesar, you should be satisfied.
That's all I seek. And am moreover suitor that I may speak in the order of his funeral.
You shall, Mark Antony.
Brutus, a word with you. Do not consent that Antony speak in his funeral. Know you not how much the people will be moved by that which you will utter?
By your patience, I will myself into the pulpit first, and deliver the cause of our Caesar's death. What Antony shall speak, I will protest he speaks by leave and by permission. It shall advantage more than do us wrong.
I know not what way befall. I like it not.
Mark Antony, take you Caesar's body. You shall not in your funeral speech blame us, but devise all good you can speak of Caesar, and say you do it by our permission.
Be it so. I do desire no more.
Prepare the body then, and follow us.
Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood over thy wounds. Now do I prophesy, a curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war, all pity choked with custom of fell deeds. And Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge, with Atte by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines, with a monarch's voice, cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall spell above the earth with carrion men groaning for burial. You serve Octavius, Caesar, do you not?
I do, Mark Antony.
Caesar did right for him to come to Rome.
He has received his letters and is coming. He bid me tell you by word of mouth.
Thy heart is big. Get thee apart and weep. Passion I see is catching, for mine eyes, seeing those beads of sorrow stand in thine, began to water. Is thy master Octavius coming?
He lies tonight within 7 leagues of Rome.
Post back with speed, and tell him what hath chanced. I will to the pulpit. There shall I try in my oration how the people take the cruel issue of these bloody men.
expelling the Tarquins and destroying the monarchy. This Brutus, having to the goodness of his disposition added the improvements of learning and the study of philosophy, is of a temper exactly framed for virtue.
Countrymen, Romans, friends, hear me for my cause. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend to Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, here is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living to die all slaves, than that he were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his ambition, and death. Here is his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, by our permission, is allowed to speak, and though he had no hand in his death, shall yet receive the benefit of his dying. A place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not? With this I conclude, that as I slew my best friend for the good of Rome, I have the same weapon for myself when it shall please my country to need my death.
No! Brutus, send me Caesar!
Silence. Antony grew up a very beautiful youth, but by the worst of misfortunes plunged into a life of drinking and dissipation.
Drunkard!
With all others he was unpopular enough, and he had a familiarity with other people's wives.
Not my wife!
Absolutely odious drinking bouts at all hours, wild expenses, gross amours, the days spent in sleeping or walking off his debauches, and the nights spent at banquets and at theaters. Mark Antony.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
No!
I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones.
You stole that!
So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously has Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral.
Well, come on, do it then!
He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious?
Oh, he was a tyrant!
When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason.
Marcus Brutus, you have 2 minutes.
Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that would not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply. Then none have I offended. Good countrymen, grace Caesar's corpse, and grace Antony's speech tending to Caesar's glory, which Mark Antony, by our permission, is allowed to make. But I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus.
Mark Antony.
But yesterday, the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong, and Cassius wrong, who, you all know, are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men. But here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I did not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not meet you know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood. You're not stones, but men, and being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you. It will make you mad. 'Tis good you know not that you are his heirs, for if you should, what would come of it?
Mark Antony, your time is
Good
up.
friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I'm no orator as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain, blunt man. I only speak my mind. Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives, to every several man, 75 drachmas. Moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his common arbors, and new planted orchards on this side Tiber. He hath left them you and to your heirs forever. Common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar! When comes such another? Caesar! 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 If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the nervi. Look, in this place ran Cassius' bullet through. See what a rent the envious Casca made? Through this hole the well-beloved Brutus fired. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen. Then I, and you, and all of us fell down whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot! Take thou what course thou wilt. Brutus and Cassius are like to have escaped like madmen. Octavius is already come to Rome, and thither will I straight to visit him. He comes upon a wish. Fortune is merry, and in this mood will give us anything. Octavius, these many then must die. Their names are pricked.
Your brother, too, must die. Consent you, Antony?
I do consent. He must not live. Look, with a spot, I damn him. Brutus and Cassius are levying powers. We must straight make head. Therefore, let our alliance be combined, our best friends made, our means stretched, and let us presently go sit in council, how covert matters may be best disclosed, and open perils surest answered.
Let us do so. But we are at the stake and bait about with many enemies, and some that smile have in their hearts, I fear, millions of mischiefs.
It has been reported that Octavius and Mark Antony have gathered 19 legions, with an allied cavalry of 33,000, bringing their combined forces to a total of over 100,000 men. The armies of Marcus Brutus and Caius Cassius have barely 17 legions, and an allied cavalry of a mere 17,000, just over half the size of the triumvirs. Antony has offered battle several times, but the liberators, as they're calling themselves, have not been lured away from their defensive positions near Philippi. Rumors have suggested that recently Brutus and Cassius have disagreed on many pressing issues, including soldiers' pay and accusations of bribery.
A word, Decius. How Cassius received you. Let me be resolved.
With respect and courtesy enough. But not with such familiar instances, nor with such free and friendly conference as he hath used of old.
Thou hast described a hot friend cooling. Ever note, Decius, when love begins to sicken and decay, it useth an enforced ceremony. Comes his army on.
They mean this night in Sardinia to be courted. The greater part are come with Cassius.
And he has arrived.
Most noble brother, you have done me wrong.
Judge me, you gods. Wrong I mine enemies? And if not so, how should I wrong a brother?
Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrong.
Cassius, be content. Speak your grief softly. I do know you well. In private study, Cassius, enlarge your griefs, and I will give you audience.
Decius Metellus, bid our commanders lead their charges a little further from this ground. That you have wronged me doth appear in this. You have condemned and noted Lucia Pilla here for taking bribes of the Sardinians, whereas my letters, praying on his side because I knew the man, you slighted off.
You wronged yourself to write in such a case.
In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment.
Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm. To sell and mark your offices for gold to undeservers?
Aye, an itching palm. You know that you are Brutus that speaks this, or for the gods, this speech or else you're lost.
To the name of Cassius honors this corruption, and chastisement doth therefore hide his head.
Chastisement?
Remember March! The Ides of March, remember! Did not great Julius bleed for justice' sake? What villain touched his body that did wound, and not for justice? What? Shall one of us, that struck the foremost man of all this world but for supporting robbers, shall we now contaminate our fingers with base bribes? And sell the mighty space of our large honors for so much trash as may be grasped thus? I had rather be a dog and bay at the moon than such a Roman.
Brutus, bay not me! I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. I am a soldier. I, elder in practice and abler than yourself to make condition.
Go to, you are not, Cassius.
I am.
I say you are not.
Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Have mind upon your health, and tempt me no further.
Away, slight man.
Is it possible?
Hear me, for I will speak. Must I give room and sway to your rash choler? Shall I be frighted when a madman stares?
Ye gods, must I endure all this?
All this, I more! Fret till your proud heart break. Go show your slaves how choleric you are. Make your bondmen tremble. Must I budge? Must I observe you? Must I stand and crouch under your testy humor? By the gods, you shall digest the venom of your spleen, though it do split you. For from this day forth, I'll use you for my mirth. Yea, for my laughter when you are waspish. You say you are a better soldier. Let it appear so. Make your vaunting true, and it shall please me well. For mine own part, I shall be glad to learn of abler men.
You wrong me every way, you wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. Did I say better?
If you did, I care not.
When Caesar lived, he durst not thus have moved me.
Oh, peace, peace. You durst not so have tempted him.
What? Durst not?
No.
I durst not have tempted him.
For your life, you durst not.
Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do that I shall be sorry for.
You have done that you should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats. For I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass by me as the idle wind, which I respect not. I did send to you for certain sums of gold to pay my legions, and you denied me! Was that done like Cassius? Would I have answered Caius Cassius so? When Marcus Brutus grows so covetous to lock such rascal counters from his friends, be ready, you gods, with all your thunderbolts. Dash him to pieces!
I denied you not.
You did! I did not.
I was but a fool that brought my message back to you. Brutus hath rived my heart. A friend should bear his friend's infirmities. Brutus makes mine greater than they are.
I do not until you practice them on me.
You love me not.
I do not like your faults.
A friendly eye would never see such faults.
A flatterer's would not, though they do appear as huge as high Olympus.
Come, Antony! Young Octavius, come. Revenge yourselves alone on Cassius, for Cassius is aweary of this world, hated by his brother, braved by one he loved, checked like a bondman. All his faults observed, set in a notebook, conned and learned by rote to cast into my teeth. Oh, I could weep my spirit from mine eyes.
Be angry when you will, it shall have scope. Do what you will, dishonor shall be humor.
If Cassius lived to be but mirth and humor to his Brutus when grief and blood ill-tempered vexeth him.
When I said that, I was ill-tempered too.
Do you confess as much? Give me your hand.
And my heart too.
Brutus,
What's the matter now?
have you not patience enough to bear with me when that ill temper which my mother gave me makes me forget myself?
Yes, Cassius, and from henceforth, when you are over-earnest with your Brutus, I'll think your mother chides, and leave you. Lucia, bring us drink.
I did not think you could have been so angry.
Oh, Cassius, I am sick of many griefs.
Of your philosophy you make no use if you give place to accidental evils.
No man bears sorrow better. Portia is dead.
Huh? Portia?
She is dead.
How scaped I killing when I crossed you, sir? Upon what sickness?
Impatient of my absence, and grief that young Octavius and Antony have made themselves so strong, for with her death that tidings came. With this she fell distract, and her attendants absent swallowed fire.
And died, sir.
Even so.
Oh, ye immortal gods.
Speak no more of her.
Oh,
give us drink. In this, I bury all unkindness, Cassius.
My heart is thirsty for that noble pledge. I cannot drink too much of Brutus' love.
Come in, Decia. Lucia. Good Metellus. Now we call in question our necessities.
For sure, art thou gone?
No more, I pray you. Good Metellus, I have here received dispatches that Octavius and Antony come down upon us with a mighty power, bending their expedition toward Philippi.
What think you of marching to Philippi presently?
I do not think it good.
Your reason?
This 'tis better that the enemy seek us. So shall he waste his means, weary his soldiers, doing himself offense, whilst we, lying still, are full of rest, defense, and nimbleness.
Good reasons must of force give place to better. The people twixt Philippi and this ground do stand but in a forced affection, for they have grudged us contribution. The enemy marching along by them shall make a fuller number up. Come on, newly added, refreshed and encouraged, from which advantage we shall cut him off. If we meet him at Philippi there, these people at our backs.
Hear me, good brother.
Under your pardon, you must know besides, we have tried the utmost of our friends. Well, our legions are brimful. Our cause is ripe. The enemy increaseth every day. We, at the height, ready to decline. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage else of their lives is bound in shallows and in miseries. Upon such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures.
Then, with your will, go on. We'll along ourselves, and meet them at Philippi.
There is no more to be said then.
No more. Oh, my dear brother, what an ill beginning this evening had. Never come such division twixt our souls, let it not, Brutus.
All is well.
Good night, noble brother.
Good night, good brother.
Good night.
Good night, Lord Brutus.
Good night, gentle friends. Oh. Where is thy instrument?
Here, my lord.
Thou speakst drowsily. Poor knave, I blame thee not. Thou art overwatched. Canst thou hold up thy heavy lids a while and touch thy instrument a strain or two?
I, my lord, and to please you.
Oh, I trouble thee too much, but thou art willing.
It is my duty, sir.
I should not urge thy duty past thy might. I know young bloods long for a time of rest.
I have slept, my lord, already.
'Twas well done, and thou shalt sleep again. I will not keep thee long. If I do live, I will be good to thee.
Just before our love got lost, you said, I am as constant as the northern star, and I said, constantly in the darkness, where's that at? If you want me, I'll be in the bar. On the back of a cartoon coaster, in the blue TV screen light, I drew a map, the capital, oh capital, with your face sketched on it twice.
Poor knave. I would not do thee so much wrong to wake thee.
What art thou?
Art thou some angel, some god, some demon that makes my blood cold and my hair to stare? Speak to me what thou art.
Thy evil spirit, Brutus.
Why comest thou?
To tell thee I shall see thee at Philippi. let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow. When I was mortal, my anointed body by thee was filled full of deadly wounds. Oh, in the battle, think of Caesar and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. Fainting, despair. Despairing, yield thy breath. Despair and die.
Lucia, awake. Didst thou dream, Lucia, that thou so criedst out? Why, yes, thou didst. Didst thou see anything?
Nothing, my lord.
Go, bid my brother Cassius good morrow. Bid him set on his powers betimes before, and we will follow. Go.
Now, Antony, our prayers are answered. You said the enemy would not come down, but keep to the hills and upper regions. It proves not so. Their battles are at hand. They mean to warn us at Philippi here, answering
I am in their bosoms, and I know wherefore they do it. They could be content to visit other places and come down with fearful bravery, thinking by this face to fasten in our thoughts that they have courage. But 'tis not so.
Words before blows, is it so, countrymen?
Not that we love words better, as you do.
Good words are better than bad strokes, Octavius.
In your good words, Brutus, you give bad strokes. Witness the hole you made in Caesar's heart, crying, "Long live, hail Caesar!"
Antony, the posture of your blows is yet unknown, but for your words, they rob the high-blood bees and make them honeyless.
Not stingless, too.
Aye, and soundless too, for you have stolen their buzzing, Antony, and very wisely threat before you sting.
Villains, you did not so when your vile weapons pierced the sides of Caesar. You bared your teeth like apes, and fawned like hounds, and bowed like bondmen, kissing Caesar's feet. Flatterers! Flatterers!
Now, Brutus, thank yourself. This tongue had not offended so today had Cassius ruled.
Come, the cause. If arguing makes us sweat, the proof of it will turn to redder drops. I was not born to die on Brutus' sword.
Oh, if thou wert the noblest of thy strain, young man, thou couldst not die more honorably. A peevish schoolboy, worthless of such an honor, joined with a masker and a reveler.
Come, Antony. Away. Defiance, traitors, hurl we in your teeth. If you dare fight today, come to the field. If not, when you have stomachs.
Now, the gods today stand friendly, that we may, brothers in peace, lead on our days to age. But, since the affairs of men must rest still uncertain, let's reason with the worst that may befall. If we do lose this battle, then is this the very last time we shall speak together. If we lose, what are you then determined to do? Are you contented to be led in triumph through the streets of Rome? No, Cassius, no. Think not, thou noble Roman, that Brutus ever will go bound through Rome. He bears too great a mind. But this same day must end the work the Ides of March begun. And whether we shall meet again, I know not. Therefore, our everlasting farewell take. Forever and forever farewell, Cassius. Forever. If we do meet again, why then we'll smile. If not, why then this parting was well made. If we meet again, we'll smile indeed. If not, 'tis true. This parting was well made. Why then, lead on. this very day was Cassius born. Where I did begin, there shall I end. Farewell to thee, Brutus. My heart doth yet joy that no man I found but was true to me. I shall have glory by this losing day. Caesar, thou art revenged. Oh, Cassius is no more. Oh, thou setting sun, as in thy red rays thou dost sink tonight, so Cassius in his red blood is set. Oh, the sun of Rome is set. Oh, it is impossible that Rome should breed his fellow. I owe more tears to that man than he shall see me pay. Oh, Julius Caesar, thou art mighty yet. I am Brutus. Marcus Brutus. Brutus, my country's friend. Oh, I know my time has come. Night hangs upon my eyes, and these bones, are weary, that have but labored to attain this end.
What man is that?
My master.
This was the noblest Roman of them all. All the conspirators, save only he, did that they did in envy of great Caesar. He only, in a general honest thought, and common good to all, made one of them. His life was gentle, and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man.
According to his virtue, let us use him. With all respect and right of burial, most like a soldier, ordered honorably. So call the field to rest, and let's away, to part the glories of this happy day.
I shall remember, when Caesar says do this, it is performed.